Hello and welcome in. My name is Drumroll Tony. I'm a streamer on Twitch, musician, and music teacher living in Seattle. Eve just dropped a new song. It's called Escape. I'm very excited to hear it. Let's go. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, what a great introduction. I feel like this is kind of a different sound for Eve because I'm so used to like double channel guitars kind of going at each other with like counterpoint stuff happening. This is just in your face. We have the sequence. The sequence is repeating and it's very groove bass. That's cool. And I like the comping on the synth underneath. It's real. It's almost jazz-like. It's nice. Good variation in the chord progression. And then obviously with the fidelity switch there, it becomes much more present. Sorry, my vocabulary is not, I'm not an audio engineer. I don't have the right terms there, but I like the switch there. And the guitar line, it's so big. It's just like, it's funky. It's pocket playing. There's not a lot of notes going on and it just allows it to be, it interacts with that synth bass line that comes in really well. Let's get the flip on that one more time and we'll let it go on. It's so good. All right, here comes the verse. Then we bring the sequence back in. Okay, that's very cool. The first thing that like is completely just so apparent is how good his flow is. That's not a surprise though. Eve always has an amazing flow, but it's a creative use of rhythms when we're delivering everything that's going on in the melody. And I like the fact that the sequencer groove, it falls out. So you just basically have synth bass, some keyboard comping, percussion, light percussion though, not too much. And then obviously the focus on the vocal line here. That's cool. Like the rhythm construction, the harmonic construction, it's really cool. But you have to give love to how good his voice sounds, where his register, how the, you know, like the tone and the delivery of everything. It's just really, really great. It's very soothing to listen to. The other thing you have to give some love to is a bump where the hits are going. We have a lot of like forward motion, and I feel like that's continuing from the beginning. I would assume that kind of pushes on through the song. It's kind of like a sled going down a hill. You hit some bumps and you kind of like decrease in speed, but then you get your speed back and you're just creating that contour. And it's very, for me, I like that kind of stuff because it's not straight just funk in the pocket playing. We just have like this little hits that just push. It just helps you nod where things are going. I like the little triplet stuff that's going on in the hi-hats there. Okay, I promise I'll let it go into the second part of this verse now. We just had to give that some love. All right, man, everything there is like pretty much perfect. Let's talk about the contour first. The contour of the vocal delivery, the flow, we get a little bit of a change. It's still pretty complicated though. I would say that rhythm delivery is not easy if you were trying to do that on your own. But our melody, our range of it, we get some augmentation there and that sequence comes back. So obviously we bring that, with that, the floor kind of fell out before, not in a bad way. We just allowed some sound to dissipate and you could really focus on where the vocals were going, but you bring that back and we keep all the sled example we gave, that rhythm is still there. All that focus is still there. Let's just go back in and give some love to the creative flow. He's like a master of like little, just subtle harmonies that come in here and there. It's not like the whole time in the second part of this verse, assuming this is still a second half of the verse and not a chorus, but it's just really like, I just like those little like attention to details. Okay. You know I'm gonna stop and talk about that. Boom, that is like wide open. That's like 1987 just came back to us. I love it because there's not a lot going on. This is such a departure of what we usually get. Usually I'm praising him on how much sound design is going in, and it's so filled but yet somehow not chaotic. This is like the opposite. I dig it, man, because you know what it is. You know what it is. Variety's the spice of life. We like that, but this is just wide open. Man. I love it. Okay, so we have some traditional Eve-isms come back. I don't know how else to describe them, but we get kind of that double guitar line coming at us. It's way more based in funk, though. Like, this is a very funky line, especially since we still have that like percussive like breakdown going on underneath. This is 120. Let's get back into that and appreciate what's going on. Let's go back to like about 1. Talk about the contour. We go way up there. I love it. There's so much to listen to. I don't see how anybody ever get bored listening to this. Now, the reason I like that so much is because, you know, contour, you could argue contour could be everywhere, right? Like, the problem is every musician in the group, or every, you know, however you create your music, if every instrument in your mix starts having massive amounts of contour at the same time, we lose something that is a constant. And you generally need something to be a constant for the other variables that move and do other things to shine and be like a notable part. So in my opinion, the reason this works so well and sounds so Eve-like, because he's a master at doing this, is we have this groove and foundation underneath what's going on with the guitars, what's going on with the synth, what's going on with the drums. And then the variety and the contour of what we're listening to in the melody from the voice is so great. And it bleeds into the next section. Even when the guitars get more complicated and more busy, there's still enough foundations happening. And I feel like we've said this in many, many videos. A lot of young musicians and a lot of young groups, you know, everyone wants to be the star all the time. And there's just so much going on. And you're like, where does my ear, you know, go? And, you know, sometimes we listen to music where that's obviously on purpose and that's the focal point and that's what people want. But your brain can only process so much. Even if you're an experienced listener, there's still, you can like layer your listening and focus at one point at a time, but it becomes more of a crowded road. So this is 120. We're going to go back to like 110 and we'll let it get into the next section. Here we go. Okay.
僕にもしも才能があるならキラリキラリと夢を歌えたら幸せでいたいなうざったいことを吐く始末美しいほどにヘッドが出そうになひがみねために苛まれてしまう自信を失ってこれが本当の僕みたい
Ooh, I like the variation of the percussion that's coming. All right, you already know. We don't need to go back and listen to it because I feel like if you're a friend of the channel, you've been here long enough, you know what it is. You pull out the percussion, we have like a full just almost stop time. Everything goes away. We don't hear anything. Suddenly the groove comes back, but it's only represented in the synth bass and a little bit of comping on the keys. That's genius, man. All you're doing is pulling away like the main focus of the percussion, like the forward movement, all that anticipation. Suddenly we're just kind of floating and the voice comes back in and you're waiting. You know it's going to come back. And when it does, it's very, very meaningful. These are not huge elements of like difficulty. This is just really great sound design. This is really great music design. I can't be surprised by Eve at this point because we've done enough of his music to know that he and his team are very good at what they do, and everything that comes out is pretty much, in my opinion, is going to be a hit because it works really well. It also happens that I like what's going on. So if you're into this kind of music, it's not exactly hard to woo somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I like this. Now, if you're not into this kind of sound, maybe it's not for you. But for me, I feel like it's an easy one to appreciate the construction that's going on. I'm going back about 10 seconds and we'll let it go on here because it sounds like we get some funkiness coming up in the snare drum here. Really? We dropped to the 4 on the floor? Okay, now we're getting to the house club vibe. Okay, this is cool. We got all these like 5-stroke rolls are happening. The snare drum sounds so dry. I dig it though. It's like you got your wallet on it. There is no overtones happening. We don't really have any resonance. It's very dry and immediate sound. Not a bad thing. I personally prefer that. I love that sound. Let's go back about 15. Just listen down to the snare drum. We'll let it get into the next the jam section here. Good guitar playing too. So that part, oh man, it's the one part with like the auto-tuning stuff happening. That's harder for me. I can understand why it happened because we kind of arrived to it. The design is there. It's a climactic point. It's short-lived. Thank God. It is short-lived. I am definitely not a fan of that vocal sound, but we already know he can sing though. We know the things are happening. Okay. We'll go back and let's do it again because of how groovy that low end is. But I can understand that's definitely not a favorite part for me, but I get it. Listen to the little harmony underneath there. That's okay. That's real nice. I like the harmony underneath. Right here. Keep going. It felt like we had some harmonica there at the end. Okay, anyway, we only got like 10 seconds left. Sorry. Yeah, man, there it is. Okay, I can dig that. That was a lot of fun, even with a little auto-tune section in there. That's cool. The groove is so great. I think the guitar design was awesome, and especially just that fuzzy synth the whole way, and just the fun vibe of it. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Drumroll Tony. Catch me when I'm live on Twitch. Link for all the socials down in the video description below. Please and thank you. Click that like button. Subscribe to the channel. YouTube thinks you would like to watch one of these 2 videos next. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.